Hello and welcome to episode 32 of the Solar Quotes Vodcast, the sitting down edition with the TV off.
That's right. And we're definitely not sitting down because I'm incapable of standing up. That's certainly not true at all. Definitely not.
How's your week been, Ronald?
Very great, thanks. No, actually, people have been sending us bottles of wine. It's much appreciated, even though I don't drink wine.
Yeah, we got 3 bottles of wine this week, which I think is a record.
Ah.
Oh no, we got 12 bottles of wine in 1 week.
Yeah, that was
a
like
couple of years
lot.
ago. That was one guy though. That was really, really happy. Mm-hmm. So pretty good wine too.
I wouldn't know, but I'll take your word for it.
We have happy hour on a Friday, so I'm sure
it's full of vitamins. Keep those colds away.
You may not drink, mate, but Jono and I and Ned do, and whoever else comes for the happy hour.
Yep.
Thank you to Andrew, and thank you to Maria for the wine. Much appreciated. Happy to help.
Thank you.
So,
yeah,
you've just published a blog post.
Yes, I have.
The headline is Victoria's AusNet forces New South solar households onto a time of use tariff for 12 months. Explain.
Okay, so in Victoria, you have a 1-month billing cycle. You can change your electricity retailer every month if you want. Your electricity retailer, your electricity plan, whatever. Simple, no problems. No one will stop you from doing that. But if you want to change your actual electricity tariff, if you have a standard tariff where you're paying a flat rate, or you have a time of use tariff where what you pay depends upon the time of day, you're only allowed to change that once a year, once every 12 months.
Not a lot of people know that.
No, they don't. And that's a rule by AusNet, which is the electricity distributor. They take the electricity from the high voltage, long distance transmission lines and send it the kilometres or tens of kilometres to homes and businesses in suburbs and towns and so forth.
Is this good or bad for solar owners?
It's bad for solar owners because it's bad for anyone. If you can only change once a year, you've lost your freedom to change your tariff at will. But it's particularly bad for solar owners because usually when you have solar, you're better off with a standard tariff where you have a flat rate. So generally you're better off with a flat rate. But Victoria, of all the states which have time of use tariffs, theirs are probably the least worst for solar, but it's still a problem.
Why are they the least worst? Because the difference is not as extreme.
As in New South Wales or even southeast Queensland or Western Australia.
Right, okay. Well, I mean, the thing I don't like about time of use tariffs is it makes it really, really hard to actually quantify before you change the plans which will be the best plan for you.
Yeah,
because it varies throughout the day. You can't just say I pay 38 cents or whatever for my electricity. You've got to say, well, between 9 and 11 I pay this, and then between there and there I pay this, and then you've got to know how much electricity you use at different times of the day. You can't just look at your bill and go, I exported this much, I imported this much. So, I mean, it's not impossible with like computers and stuff.
Or if you're determined, you can sit there for notepad and pencil. You don't want to be at home during the day, though.
But what is almost impossible is getting the average consumer to sit down and do that because, as we know, it's very, very hard to get a lot of consumers to even switch standard tariffs and work out whether they'll be better off on the standard tariff, which takes all of about 90 seconds. To get them to sit out, get the smart meter data, download that from the distributor's portal, pull that into their computer, upload that into a tool, which doesn't exist at the moment, but the plan is to make one at Solar Quotes. So you can upload the electricity use profile, compares that with the time of use tariffs, saying based on that, you'll be better off with this tariff. Assuming that's a typical day's use. I mean, it's just asking way too much, I think, of the consumer.
Yeah. And then to say, consumers have freedom of choice and there's competition. That's not true. People can't tell which is cheaper. There's not true competition.
Seems to be a bit of a trend, though, that the NSPs are happy to put solar owners on worse or more complicated plans.
Why not put people who buy air conditioning on worse or more complicated plans? Because they're the people who are really pushing up the network and distribution costs.
Well, that's right. I mean, you can argue that solar owners make the grid operator's job harder because they are, pushing large amounts of power into the grid and then not putting it into the grid and, making the grid unstable. But that's no different to people with big demand spikes.
Yeah, exactly.
And they don't get penalised at all.
No.
Interesting. The reason I asked you to research this, Ronald, is I had a discussion on Facebook with a chap that just got solar in Victoria. He'd been put onto a time of use tariff. He said, what's the best tariff for me to be on? I said, it's this one. He said, no, I can't be on that one because I've been forced onto a time of use tariff. And I said, are you sure you can't opt out? Mm-hmm. He was adamant. So he was right and I was right. He couldn't opt out but immediately, but if he waits 12 months, he can opt out.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people know that.
If they haven't changed the rules by then.
If they haven't changed the rules by then.
Mm-hmm.
So be careful if you're in the AusNet area.
Yes. It makes we were sold the privatisation on electricity on two things. One, it would lower the cost of electricity. That definitely did not happen. And two, we'd have freedom of choice. But apparently we only have freedom of choice if it suits the powers that be. They'll take it away when it suits them.
It seems that way.
Mm-hmm.
Now let's talk about a gentleman that called the Solar Quotes office. He had bought solar.
Did he say something rude or something nice?
Oh, this guy, he's a very, very pleasant chap.
Oh, good.
Quite desperate, though, because he'd spent $42,000 on a solar and battery system.
Yes.
Not through Solar Quotes, through a solar company that we do not recommend, but we do know of.
Yes.
And he was tearing his hair out because, he spent 42 grand on a solar and battery system. What would you expect your bills to be?
Well, I'd definitely expect a credit if I had spent that much money.
So obviously it depends on how much electricity you use, what your bills will be, even after a very expensive solar system. But this guy was still getting, like $600 a quarter bills. He did have monitoring. It was a Solar Edge, 10 kilowatts of solar, 20 kilowatt hours of battery. In winter, his solar was just about filling the batteries on an average day.
Yes.
Unfortunately, that means half the time it wasn't filling his batteries.
Yep.
So more solar would have definitely helped. In summer, he was producing about half the solar energy he should be producing.
Oh.
Because the system was just cutting out around midday most days.
Right.
So we don't know why that is. We can guess. It's almost certainly over voltage issue.
Yes.
And the company he'd bought the solar from said, too hard, can't fix it.
Really?
Poor bugger. So yeah, a few interesting things there. We're seeing more and more people who have high bills are throwing money at the problem.
Yeah.
This chap, he spent 10 grand on 10 kilowatts of solar and 32 grand on 20 kilowatt hours of batteries. Yeah. Something like that ratio. What do you think about that ratio?
That if you had done it the other way around, it'd make a lot more sense. You could have 20 kilowatts of solar and 10 kilowatt hours of batteries, but you don't need any batteries at all. You just need a lot of solar. Then you can get a credit. And it's a lot cheaper than batteries.
I mean, this guy had a three-phase house.
So he could have put on.
I put a picture of it. This is a picture of his roof. You can see he's got loads of space for extra solar.
Oh dear.
And he's only put 10 kilowatts of solar on there.
Yeah, that's definitely the wrong way to go about it.
Yeah, he absolutely should have put 20 kilowatts of solar on there.
If his goal was to save money, yeah. If you're some sort of battery nut, I could understand it, but no.
The other thing is we looked at his usage through his Solar Edge app, through his Solar Edge portal, and he was using an enormous amount of energy overnight, which is why the retailer had sized him a 20 kilowatt hour battery.
Yes.
Because he could chew through 20 kilowatt hours a night. We asked him what he was, and he said he was heating the house.
Yeah.
Now, this guy lives on the North Shore of Sydney. I've lived there. It doesn't get that cold.
Not compared to England, no.
I think solar's at a point where it's kind of a no-brainer to whack, your 6.6, 10, 11 kilowatts on the roof.
Yep.
That just makes sense if you've got an unshaded roof. But when you start looking at $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 on solar and batteries, stop, take a deep breath, and think about the thermal envelope of your house.
Yes.
Yeah, I think Australia is having an emerging problem with people just throwing money at solar and batteries to fix gas-guzzling houses that are obviously horrendously energy inefficient.
Yeah.
And that's really not that good for the environment compared to fixing the house. So speaking of 42 grand solar systems, worst review of the week.
Uh-oh.
This is a gentleman that spent $41,000 on a solar and battery system.
Not 42.
No,
That's
this guy's
okay.
a different
41.
chap,
Yep.
Peter. He did get 20 kilowatts of solar and one battery, so he got that right.
Good.
Let's read. So the review is, terrible company, shocking customer relations, non-compliant installations. The sales and quote had us hook, line and sinker, but beware of the fine prints. The 2 times installation of systems and Tesla was the worst install, and they had to be removed after thousands of dollars of damage to household goods in our property and the street.
Oh, God.
How does a solar installation damage the street?
If you fry the transformer on the street, that's how.
Something's gone horribly wrong
Yeah,
here.
horribly wrong.
14 months of legal battles to rectify, and they still did not complete the process. We have removed 2 installations and Tesla battery and replaced everything with hybrid systems. The install was so bad that the smart meters caught fire.
Oh, dear.
This company will gladly take your money, cost you thousands more in home repairs and household good replacements. They also connected to the grid illegally, whatever that means. So these are Peter's words.
Yep.
We haven't, gone out and verified this, but he's very, very angry.
Yeah.
And the icing on the cake is this is a approved solar retailer,
Yeah.
and they're also a Tesla installation partner. So I think Tesla should probably look at that. I will give them the heads up about that.
So, yes. I think, both of those companies would be able to avoid someone who sets smart meters on fire. Wouldn't you? Or fries, street transformers.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, dear.
Should we go on to best review of the week?
Yes.
Now, this is a company I've never heard of before, called Oz Solar World, up in Queensland. They've got a lot of good reviews on our site, so
Good.
yeah, good on you. Oz Solar World was recommended by a friend, and we have already recommended them to others. Harry managed the sales and quotes process and remained in regular contact throughout the installation and connection process. We found the entire team to be professional. We chose a 20 kilowatt system. Smart move. So here's someone that's just gone big on the solar, which was installed over 2 days. Yeah, that sounds about right. It's a big system. And within 2 weeks of signing the contract, the installation went smoothly. Now, here's the good bit. We've had our solar system for 6 months and have already received a solar feed-in credit of $2,047.
Ooh.
So that's on top of the self-consumption.
Yeah.
So you really can smash your bills with a big solar system without a battery. Our bills are better than zero. We have $600 in credit with our energy retailer. So you compare this to the guy that got 10 kilowatts of solar and 20 kilowatt hours of battery, paid more than double the price. These guys have got $600 credit. That guy's got a $600 bill. Obviously, it depends on your electricity usage, but
Yes. That's the way to go.
if you've got a decent feed-in tariff and a 20 kilowatt system, and you're going to use an enormous amount of energy to not get a big credit.
Exactly.
Normal. We are thrilled with the outcome on our investment, which should see our large system paid off well under 4 years.
Woohoo.
They paid 18 grand for a 20 kilowatt system.
Yep.
Nice one.
Excellent.
Should we move on to hydrogen?
No, we should stay away from it.
Oh, you love hydrogen.
I just don't see how it's going to make us money. That's all.
Everyone's in love with it. Alan Finkel, South Australian government, releases hydrogen action plan this week.
All you have to do to convince me is show me the money. Where is the money coming from? At the moment, it all depends upon other countries paying more for energy than they need to.
Yeah. So you're saying hydrogen's a furphy?
I'm saying that it's not going to pay for itself, so it's unlikely to take off. Hydrogen can be used for some things. I'm not saying there'll be no hydrogen used, but people who are expecting it, Japan, Korea, China, to be putting millions of hydrogen fuel cell cars on the road are mistaken.
So the local servo is not going to be converting to hydrogen anytime soon?
No. Battery cells for electric Volvos and Tesla, they're $100 US, about 150 Australian dollars per kilowatt hour. Fuel cells cars can't compete with that.
So why is everyone in love with hydrogen at the moment?
People in Australia have this cargo export cult mentality. We need to export the coal. We need to export the natural gas. Oh, people say we can't do that anymore because we're melting the ice caps. We will export green hydrogen because they can't imagine exporting CGI Marvel movies, which we already do, or exporting drone technology, which we already do.
I think you're dead
Weird.
right. I think that people have an emotional attachment to exporting stuff in bulk,
Yeah.
whether that's hydrogen in the form of hydrogen or in the form of ammonia, which is a big thing at the moment. And like you say, let's put some prices around it. It makes no sense.
Yes. The converting to ammonia is just another step more expense, more energy wasted.
Yep.
Maybe it'll work. Maybe there'll be demand for hydrogen for flight and for industrial processes, but it's not going to be the huge amounts people are dreaming of. It's a dream.
Agreed. LG unveils Neon R Ace solar panels.
Yeah, this is interesting.
This is really interesting. So I pinged LG this morning. Fair up, didn't give them much notice, but they haven't got back to me asking if these would be available in Australia. So don't know if they're coming to Australia. The way they are at the moment, they're not allowed in Australia because, if I remember right, there's this weird Australian standard that says you can't have microinverters on a panel that's bigger than 350 watts.
Because it's not micro. Couldn't they just change the name, call it a MIDI inverter instead of a micro inverter?
Yeah, it's a bit nutty.
Yeah.
But these panels are interesting because LG, obviously excellent panels, are bringing out an AC panel, which lots of companies do, but generally at the moment they do that with an Enphase microinverter, but LG are making their own microinverters, which is impressive and brave and scary at the same time.
And I had a look at the data sheet. It just says 25-year warranty. It's a 25-year product warranty.
On the whole thing?
On the whole thing. No mention of splitting it up. But, like you said, we don't know if they're coming to Australia, and we don't know what warranty they'll have here. Enphase microinverters, a 25-year warranty in the United States, but 10 years here. So they might change it for Australia.
They might.
we'll
so
see.
depend on a few things. One, it may not come to Australia. If it does, how expensive are they going to be? If they're crazy expensive, that's a bit of a showstopper for a big part of the market. Very hard to make reliable electronics under a solar panel. It gets very hot, but I'm sure LG can do it with R&D labs.
Yes, it can be done.
Enphase have done it. I'm sure LG can. And whether it has a 25-year warranty over here as well. So that's really interesting.
And it looks sexy.
You have LG panels, LG microinverter, LG Chem battery. Then the question is, who would make the battery inverter? I'm sure. I imagine LG are working on that.
Well, you'd think so, yeah. And it's supposed to be smart, so you can hook it up to your smart appliances, and they'll turn on when the solar output is high. And
that's pretty simple logic, but I mean, it's the more appliances talk to each other, the better. Let's just talk about solar panel.
Yep.
Module level optimization. What have we got at the moment? You got microinverters.
Yes.
Which is Enphase until these things arrive. Basically, I wouldn't use anything else. You got DC optimizers, which is basically SolarEdge.
And you're probably okay going with I can't pronounce it.
Oh, Huawei.
Huawei, yes.
Huawei are making them now.
Yep. I haven't been around for a long time, so we can't be certain how they perform, but I'm pretty confident.
Then you've got the string inverter agnostic optimization box, which is basically Tigo.
Yep.
Tigo, whatever you want to say. And then you've got, blast from the past, Maxim panels, where they integrate a tiny little chip into the panel.
Yep, when the Maxim panels came out, oh wow, I tell you, it just seemed too good to be true.
And it was.
And it was, yes.
I said, I got a load of heat for this blog post I put out. Geez, it must be 3 years ago now. Saying, I was pretty sure I said, if Maxim work, SolarEdge and the rest of them are going to be sweating.
Yeah.
They're going to feel a whole world of pain because these things add like a couple of cents per watt to the panel. And they essentially do what the SolarEdge optimizers and the Tigo optimizers do in terms of optimizing the panel.
Yeah.
And I got a lot of heat for that because a lot of people are very protective over especially the SolarEdge and the Enphase guys, and that's fine. But happily for them, there was a huge problem with TV reception.
Yes.
You want to sell solar, don't mess with people's TV reception.
Yeah, don't block their ability to watch the footy. You'll be in trouble.
So Maxim 1 came out. That was showstopper TV reception. They said, no, it's all right, we fixed it. Maxim version 2 came out. Still big problems.
Yeah.
So that was, now they've learnt their lesson, I think. And Maxim 3 have quietly come out. People don't realise that.
Yeah.
We have 2 clients in South Australia that are using different brands of Maxim version 3 panels. And they are telling me that they appear to have totally solved the TV reception problem.
Excellent. Good.
So that's very, very interesting.
It's very exciting.
And if I was Enphase and SolarEdge and Tigo, I'd be a bit worried about that.
Yeah. I think they learnt their lesson, not to make a big fuss about it, just in case it doesn't work. But I think, in the next few months, unless a problem crops up, we'll be hearing a lot more. Assuming there's no problem with Maxim panels, that's really going to take a lot of wind out of the sails of people selling microinverters and optimizers. But in the long-term future, many years away, I can see everything being done at the panel level just to make things simple and installation a breeze.
Yes. I think the solar industry is not going to get boring anytime soon.
Ah, yes, and that's a good thing or a bad thing, depending on your personality.
Hey, I've been doing this 10 years. It hasn't got boring yet.
Excellent.
Anything else you want to talk about before we get stuck in?
Climate March. We
Oh, yeah.
went on the Climate March, and
We did.
there get a day off for the Adelaide show. You get a day off for the footy in Victoria, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, surely we can have a day off school for the planet, right? For the climate,
I thought so.
Yeah. So good work, everyone. Thanks, Greta, for getting the ball rolling. Middle-aged, grumpy old men. She's just a messenger. She's just saying what scientists, economists, many big businesses, insurance companies, power companies, etc., are saying. So, don't shoot the messenger. If you want to shoot yourself, just do it in the foot. We still love you. We just want you to act sensibly, okay?
All right. 1 o'clock.
Yep, 1 o'clock.
Let's go.